today's episode we are going to be fitting the NRG quick release steering wheel hub. That will allow the steering wheel to be moved closer to myself, which we were after in previous episodes. It'll also be removable so I can get in and out easier. This is all for planning ahead, so if I don't need to make an adjustable steering column, it's not necessary. It's another job ticked off the list. So these are all the bits you get in the box. Allen key, some nice little stainless bolts, which probably, if you're fitting these to your car now, and this ain't no how-to video, but I would probably put a little dab of Loctite on those just in case. So this is the bit that bolts to the car or your boss, and then this bit bolts to the steering wheel, and that locks in to this bit. Not 100% sure what this shim is for, to be honest, unless it's like an aligning shim to make sure your steering wheel's centered. Not 100% sure. And these are little spacing shims if required. Yeah, let's throw it together and see what it looks like. I imagine it looks pretty good. Oh yeah, and also if you want to run a horn push in the middle, it gives you that option. I'm just doing this for an example case because, to be honest with you, I can't find the centre nut for the actual steering column at the minute. So that is going on there, and I don't know why I've written top on that, but I have, because that's my shitty handwriting. So go ahead and put that on there. Line your holes up. Get the quick release on. Only fits on one way. Locks on super nice and tight. So if you're doing this in the car, probably clip it on like that and then put your steering wheel on. Pretty simple, really. Now my wheel realistically should have this little shim thing because the horn push clips into this. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on with the wheel. As long as the holes line up, yeah, that's about right. Yeah, let's get the wheel on. And it just is going to make it so much easier to get in and out, especially when these door bars have been installed, because trying to get your leg up and in and over is going to be a pain in the arse. So with this, it just looks so nuts, doesn't it? Look at it. That is one cool bit of kit. You literally just put it in, bosh, and that's on, super secure. And it's pretty easy to take off, literally one-handed, go around the boss in the middle, or go around the release, sorry, pull it up, that's it. Whilst we're playing with the steering column, I think it would be best to sort this out. I mean, I did this ages ago, and it's not up to the standard that I want it at now, because this is just getting packed out with washers either side. It's crap. So I'm gonna have a do over, chop these off, start again, make it look a lot nicer as well. All right, it will work, but really, we've got things like this in here that we've done that look absolutely fantastic, and this just looks a bit crap now, so I think we best sort that out. Right, the old one's all chopped off now, so all we've got now is just I'm guessing it's a 38mm tube in there. I can't remember how big it was, but I've been thinking about this bracket here. The original design was pinch bolt up the top there where my fingers are, and then you'd adjust your steering column on those slotted bits. But we could probably get rid of this, couldn't we, really? Just make one of these. Do away with the middleman or middle bracket. I think it's time to get the CAD machine out. And this is the new CAD machine. So we've got Choco Hoops CAD machine this time. Let's see if this does as well as the Honey Hoops. Done a couple of different designs as you've seen. I think really this is the best one out of the two. It's always good to do a couple of different things. I just think it looks more structurally sound, if you know what I mean. A bit more angular rather than the rounded base. So we're going to go with that. Chop it out some 3mm. Alright, so this is the start of the column drop bracket. Looking pretty good. This bit was a bit of a pain in the arse to do, the slotted bit. Had to sort of stitch drill that, but I'll show you in a clip in a minute how I made the whole thing. And then we'll have both sides. We can join the two together with like I'm thinking maybe a little strengthening piece across the middle there, stop any twist. Two brackets made up. They look really good, and the best way I've found of getting them pretty much exactly the same is clamp them together and give them a quick tickle round with the grinder, belt sander, whatever you've got, just to get them nice and uniform, and they should fit nice and square on the car. The capping plate I'm thinking of doing is this. Started making it already. And we'll do a little cut out on the top, like a little oval up here for the wiring loom clearance. And then this upper bit I've cut too long, and then along here I'm going to fold it so it's over the top. You can weld it to the top of that tube and cap this bit off and weld it all the way along and down. That's the plan at the minute, but can I do a conventional fold on this, or shall I just do a little zing cut along here and then bend it and weld it? That'd be the easier way. I might try folding it first, because it'd be nicer if I can actually bend it, wouldn't it? I did a little bit of cheating. I took this to the workshop and applied a bit of heat to it just to give it that perfect crisp and 90-degree. That's looking good. I think it just finishes it off just that little bit neater, having that top bit capped off. So worth the extra bit of effort, I think. Get it out now on the bench, tack it up, and then refit, make sure everything still lines up, all square, and then we'll weld it on properly. Right, we're finally there now. I did my usual, just went for it. I've had to redo it 3 or 4 times to get this thing square. It's been an absolute pain in the arse. So I thought I got it square the first go, but it was a bit tricky balancing it all, holding it together, and it didn't work. So we're square this way pretty much. That's because I've cut this a bit on the wonk. That's why it's wobbling, unfortunately. This way is the main way, and that is lovely and square. That is also square. So we're just going to have to tweak these out a little bit because it's really nice and snug on the column. I've just done a quick test fit and it does fit on the column. So I might as well show you that quickly. So that's it. Looking good. The top, that'll weld in nicely on my little slightly wonky cut. The next job is to separate the inner column from the outer sleeve section. Then we cut the weld off the bottom of that joint. Hopefully we can separate that without destroying the column, and then work out how we're going to fit the actual universal joint on. That's the inner part of the shaft. This is the bit we've got to take off. So we've got quite a nice weld all the way around here. So you're just going to slowly take off with the grinder. I think I used a little Milwaukee cut-off tool for this. And this is the UJ, which is ever so slightly longer, but we might be able to do a bit of modification there. Okay, so I've cut into the column, unfortunately just a little bit. Shouldn't cause too much of a problem. I can always weld it up, but yeah, so this ends up coming off like so. You're left with this little bit, and that bit, see, originally would have fitted that far along, which is quite a long way down. So the new UJ will only go on as far as the end of the spline. So what I'm thinking is either cutting the splines down and then having a flat in this section, which will utilise my bodge cut for the retaining bolt hole. Yeah? Because that's going to realistically make the shaft a little bit too long, I'm thinking now. But we'll get it in a car, have a look, maybe do a bit of measuring. I don't really want to put the seats back in. Do I want to put the seats back in? Oh, probably. I should probably put the seats back in and get a feel for it again. So you can see the imaginary seat looking good in position. But you don't have to be a genius to work out we've added quite a few mil there, probably 15 mil, 10, 15 mil, something like that, on. To push the bracket out that much. Bracket's not sitting perfectly flat. So yeah, I think we're going to have to go with the initial plan. We've got clearance for the clutch pedal and that, which is good. I wanted to check all that out and all. So yeah, I think we'll have to shave this bit down on the column, get it up in there further. So now it goes all the way into this UJ. As you can see, it fits really nice. Now I've got to just decide on how much of the spline part of the material I'm going to actually remove. Don't really want to remove too much. I will show you why. I mean, that's the ideal position, so you've got all spline in there being clamped. So I'm making it go that much further in. So you're only sort of having this much really in the spline. It shouldn't realistically be a problem, I wouldn't have thought. And then we got a channel, a little groove in here for the bolt to lock onto. So if we gauge this by where the original one sat, which was there on the cut line of that weld, we are really, really close. So it's not going to hurt by extending it just a little bit. So I reckon we'll probably end up trimming it down about there-ish. But I'm only going to take a little bit off because realistically that amount of movement will not be required in the car. The first sort of proper fit, I think, is looking pretty good. We just got to address the small issue of the actual UJ, the very bottom of it. It's just catching on the sort of square section on the bottom of the floor. So if you look just above where that threaded part of the bolt hole is, that is where we're hitting. So I've drawn a little line on both sides. I'm going to take that down with the grinder instead of modifying the floor, because it's not really worth all the faff of chopping the floor up and getting it just scalloped out in that one area for the sake of attacking this bit with the grinder. It is pretty close to UJ, but I think it will work. Let's go and have a look in the car. That's its closest point there, where the pen mark is. And we are clear. So we are lining up pretty nicely at the minute. That's the line I made up there for the centre line of the column. So I think now what we really need to do is get the seats back in. Okay, so that's sort of set midway, like height wise. That feels quite good already. So this bottom bit is a little bit tight, so I need to do a bit of adjustification on here to make this a bit looser. So that is basically, if you went full adjustment on the bottom, as in all the way to the bottom, that feels good. I think we've got, and I'm quite stretched out here with my feet, which is good. And I can go up higher, obviously. So that is at max height. You've got loads of space for your legs here. I prefer the wheel to be a bit lower, to be honest, but who knows, by the time it's actually finished, I might be really old and I can't get in and out of it, and I might like having my hands much higher up and it's in the middle of me. which is a bit of a pet hate when I used to drive it, because it used to be, you know, you were sitting over here and the freaking wheels here and your feet are over this direction pressing the pedals, and it's just all a bit weird. But most British cars are like that. Anyway, I think we better mark that where it is. Got the welder set up absolutely spot on, so let's hope we ain't got to move that, because that is tacked to annihilation on there. It's looking really good. Line my marks up. We got good adjustability there. That's one-handed, so it's tight, but it ain't too tight, if you know what I mean. Seats out again. That's one of the jobs that I hate doing, mainly because the damage that I could cause to the seat by moving it in and out of the garage past the vice and all the other crap that's in here. But that being said, we're good. I'm just going to do a couple more tacks on the other side of this bracket with the column mounted in, just to make sure that nothing moves when you weld it. And yeah, and then I'll go and seam weld the whole lot round. Not super beautiful as per usual, but it's on. It'll look better once it's ground down a little bit. Super tricky laying down in here with the mask on, trying to get your head round up there. Oh, pain in the butt. But I managed to weld sort of down the insides as well. It ain't going nowhere. I think we'll call it the end on this particular episode. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a part 2, because I'm happy with it in one respect, really pissed off in another, because I know this is snowballing out of control. I've been speaking to some people on the internet and they're doing exactly the same thing, and it's a rabbit hole of shit, basically. Let's face it. I'll show you what I'm on about. It's a tricky one. Let's flip the camera around. Right, so all I've done, I mean, realistically, I should have seen this coming, but I didn't. And we're in the situation that we're in now, which is a month's worth of 4 nights a week. Put all that lot together, quite a bit of time, let's face it, of getting the steering wheel straight with the seat, which, yes, lovely, it is, but it is also pissed, which I didn't see coming, which I should have done. Okay. I'm just really not happy with that. So I think we've got the answer, really. When you're sitting in the car, the position feels fine, feels absolutely great, but from the outside, aesthetically, it looks crap. So I think realistically what we're going to have to do, this lovely bracket which has been finished wonderfully, has now got to be cut off. And then I'm going to have to cut the column here, ish, put another UJ on it to allow the sideways movement to get the column straight, but then of course the bracket's going to be in the wrong place. Realistically, that's going to have to come further over here, and then yes, we're going to have a problem with the pedals, so we're going to have to cut the pedal up as well and put a new piece of metal in there to make the pedal come down and not hit the column. Yeah, you have kind of joined me on this snowballing effect of steering column modification. If you're thinking of doing this, I'd recommend that you don't, unless you want to really go for it. It's not a 5-minute job, is it? Let's face it. Well, hopefully we'll see you in part 2, and I might have actually finished something.